besides that, but our basic dial-ups with the Internet Chameleon. Why Chameleon?
It's the easiest, most stable package we could find. When we decided to get into the internet provider business, we knew the main thing that was going to make us or break us is customer support. And with Chameleon, we have the ability to very easily troubleshoot in just about any problem that our users could possibly have.
Okay. And the street price on Chameleon is about what, $150?
$150.
Okay. Now there's shareware replacements, that you can get. There's their WinSock dial-up, and that now does that support PPP? Yeah, that supports shell access, but it doesn't actually do PPP, does it? I mean slip access.
WinSock?
Yeah.
I think the new version of WinSock has PPP.
The new version does have it. I've been running it for a while. I know it took me a while to get it all set up and running, though. Yeah. There's a lot of fill in the blanks. This is not a normal Windows install of click A:install and our setup, and it just goes down. You're going to need to know the domain names, IP address, what you want to fill in there, and a script where you're going to probably have to modify the INI. So if you're not comfortable with editing your own INIs and doing some of this, it's very advantageous to go with a commercial package where not only with Phoenix would you have support, but you have support through NetManage also, in case you need a fallback for whoever else you're hooking up to. So that's the commercial end on this does have some built-in advantages over the shareware side. So that's something to go with. Let's start off with some of the tools, the very basics of what we need to go with. I'm going to scroll up here a little bit. Most common one, mail. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to get any mail in. I have a lot out right now. I have found that I'm booking more and more by email than I ever have before. So, yeah, I'm going to get a couple of messages in here. And explain email. How does somebody reach you?
Well, electronic mail on the internet is a worldwide mail delivery service. And what it does is you have an address. Mine, for instance, is pat@mailserve.phoenix.net. That is my electronic mail address. And from anywhere on the planet Earth, I guess, or near Earth orbit, you can actually access or send mail to me using that header. What it is just a way of addressing such that every person has a unique address. And it can be sent from any type of system. The internet really is a universal email translator, so to speak, so that you can send mail from an Apple system to an IBM mainframe, or from an IBM PC to a Unix account. So really, on the internet, electronic mail is highly developed and is really the best example of a client-server environment for the internet.
Okay. And the internet is basically that, just a network of networks, and they're all different types anyway.
Right.
So that's part of the scheme of it. You mentioned email address, so I'll do our plug here. If you want to reach us, the American Computer Enthusiast, you can write us with email at ace@macaw.com, MACAW, and that'll go right into our box, and we'll handle it from there. And then we have a helpline number, 587-5369, which is voicemail, and leave your tips and suggestions and other things that you'd like to see on the show. I enjoy hearing from people. I had several different questions on this show in particular about when are you going to do an internet show, and let's look at graphical browsers. So if you were one of those, stick by, because later on in the show we're going to graphical. So we have email. The nice thing that I found about email is it's changing businesses up. I'm finding that I'm talking to some very powerful people I've never been able to talk to. If I tried to call on the phone, I would never hear from. I'd never get through their 3 secretaries and 2 marketing and administrators. But some of the people that I've run into on email are in a higher level. That's kind of an interesting concept. I'm also finding that it's a very good feedback tool. If people are disgruntled, they're real quick to use email.
Oh, yeah, that's because it's easy.
It's very simple, and it's very safe. They don't get in any trouble. Let's see who sent me some email. Okay. Internet email T-shirts, another marketing pitch. So that's email. The next thing that's the most common is the news. And news groups are what? Give me a rundown on a quick news group.
The Usenet news groups are really designed as an information exchange. A lot of people will access a news group to find either business type information. They may be looking for some local activities. There are, on our system, there are around 10,000 news groups, and each of them is related to a particular topic. Everything from events that may have to do with, say, Houston here locally, or nationwide events. There are also news groups related to things like universities, arts, all kinds of computer support type news groups and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it's a very universal type of coverage of just all kinds of subjects.
One of my favorites that I hang out locally at is Houston.eats. Does restaurant reviews, and I have found a lot of the nicest little restaurants to go to and get a good meal with my wife and so forth. So that's where we picked up our anniversary place, a little small place that we'd never been to. There's everything from motorcycles. I've talked to the Harley dudes and the Texas motorcycles, on down to all the computer stuff and so forth. There's just anything that you can imagine, I guess there's a news group for. And if not, you can create your own. Right. So that gives you the basics. Those are the two things that we've covered before. Now, let's break off, and in this segment, what I want to do is, Shell has a totally different effect as far as Gopher and FTP and stuff of that nature, so we're going to concentrate on SLIP and PPP here. Let's start up with Gopher. What is Gopher used for, and how does it work? What's the advantage of Gopher? What would you utilize this tool for?
Gopher is a very simple way for universities and companies to present information on the internet without having to understand a whole lot about how do I program this, how do I program that. Once they get the Gopher server up running on one of their systems, what they basically construct is a series of text files that link one to another. A lot of people say Gopher is the precursor to the World Wide Web, and in many ways it is. There are a lot of built-in search utilities with Gopher, a lot of ease of use. So I guess is what I'm trying to point out.
It's pretty much point and click. Mm-hmm. Like if I just did what we used was a Gopher search on television to see what it would come back with, and this was out of the area of search all Gopher servers in the world, and it picks up the Voice of America and WorldNet television. And then I can just click on it and pull up items that they have on theirs. Let's see here.
As you can
look at their email addresses.
As you can see, what it is an index. And what has made the internet explode is the indexing of the information that's available so that you can get to it in seconds. It used to take days, weeks, or months, back in the original days of the internet, to find information that was out there. Now you can point and click to a pointer, which then takes you right to that information.
And as you notice, we have Gopher servers all over.
There's even some in Russia now.
Yeah, I noticed some posts come up about that. So there's different searches in here. Where's one that would have? Let's see if we can find a Veronica. Explain Veronica. Why would you use Veronica versus pointing and clicking yourself?
Veronica is a tool that lets you go out and actively search the internet in the background. It's not something that's done in real time, so that it does a more extensive type search. There are large systems that are set up just for that purpose, and Veronica is a program that runs on there that goes out and actively searches for matches on your search string across the internet. You can also do searches based on Boolean type functions, or ands, ors, not, that kind of thing, which you're doing right now. And it will go out and find, looking at the indexes that are available.
That server's busy.
That server's busy. It won't let me in right now. So you sit here and you do this.
This is one of the early tools that was developed on the internet.
It's basically a big cataloging system. You called it an index, but it's like a huge table of contents is the way that I've always looked at it. And this is the biggest tool that I hear from public librarians and so forth. This is what they use. I had to fix a problem on Myst that was locking up in the game 40 minutes into the game. I didn't have the time to sit there and figure out how to play the game. So I did a Gopher search and found a walkthrough for Myst so that I can run it far enough into the game to see where the bug was that was coming up, and if it was a hardware bug or whichever. I've found recipes, TV schedules, satellite viewing guides. I haven't really found anything that I haven't been able to find somewhere on Gopher. It just takes time. And the nice thing about it is if I open up, and if I'm able to get it in, I'm just using Notepad or Write to view mine. If I pull up a feed, let's see if it's going to let us in now. 66 bytes means it's still too busy?
Yep.
Yes.
Try a different one. There you go. One of the things I really like about this Windows Gopher is that if you're getting on a Gopher that's set up to do lots of searches, what it'll have is just a whole list of different servers. And with this particular product, all I have to do is say, oh, that one's busy, I go to the next one. That one's busy, I go to the next one.
Okay, we got a good connection here.
All right.
Let's see, now where are we hooking up to? I didn't even pay attention. So what it's doing now, got an error on it. That one was SunNet.
Yeah.
Let's try Manitoba. And
too many
it looks like it is the wrong time of the day. The primary busy time, prime time for the internet is what time in the central time zone?
Generally, it's about 6 or 8 o'clock until about 10 or 11, even midnight. That's when people are using the internet to do things, recreational type things. They're using it to handle things that they couldn't do at work, say, when they were too busy during the day. So at night, especially, is when you tend to have people really piling up on the internet.
Try that last one, James.
Try the last one?
Yeah. Doesn't like it.
Pull it in that way. Let's do a little jump here. Let's see what's going on in South America, see if we can find a server out there that'll let us in. There's Argentina.
One that I usually find doesn't have very much use at this time of day is in Australia.
Okay.
So if this one doesn't pan out, we'll try that one next.
Okay. And it's just point and click. If you're used to Windows File Manager, you can run this. If you notice, it shows the universities. Let's see, I want to go to Buenos Aires. That sounds like fun. Where are you going for your honeymoon?
Yucatan.
Yucatan, okay. And we can see what's going on as far as events. And just point and click, boom, you're in. And now we probably can't read any of this.
That's a semester schedule, the first one.
Oh, we can read it, okay. You notice it just comes up in a text file. Now, this is on my hard drive at this point. It's there locally. After I log off, I have it. So that means that I can just go in and grab just as many of these and go through and come up with just any type of search I want to. I did this recently on an internet glossary. I'm trying to put together a big glossary, and there is a lot of information out there in glossary and different definitions. So that's Gopher. The next utility that probably you see the most of is, we'll go with FTP, I'm sorry, and then we'll show Archie and how it utilizes. And explain FTP.
File Transfer Protocol.
What does that mean?
This is basically a fancy copy program. If I want to copy a file from a remote PC, all I have to do is fire up FTP, log into it, and grab the file. Now, before we had the nice Windows interfaces, this was all done typing with really strange, obscure commands in Unix. Now that we have Windows, it's point and click, drag and drop. Anybody can do it.
So all I got to do is just click over here. Let's see what we got under software. Anything?
No, you probably want to go under Internet Software.
Okay.
There's nothing in there.
Nothing under there.
Nothing in there.
Backup one. And we'll go to Internet. And under software.
Mm-hmm. And PC.
This is another reason why the internet has exploded. The instant availability of hundreds of gigabytes of data, files, games, programs, text files.
The internet is probably one of the reasons why the shareware concept has gotten so big so fast. They put their shareware video games out on public access FTP servers, and within a day or two, hundreds of thousands of people have downloaded that software.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that we're finding more and more of is where we used to place long-distance calls to a company's bulletin board, we're now going into Novell's FTP or Microsoft, And if you're having to do that very often, that can mount up real fast. You're starting to download big files. And on here, I can just do what I want to do. Just drag and drop and grab what I want. Now, we're running, just to let everybody know, we're running a US Robotics 28.8 modem. It's on a 486DX266 with 20 megs of RAM. So this isn't a real weak machine, but I just recently went to 20 megs. I came from 8 megs, and it handled very well at 8 megs also. So, and let's see, what are we getting here as far as our
I'm only getting about 2.
About 2?
That FTP server is an experimental one.
Okay,
so
okay.
It does strange things.
Well, then I want to do a disconnect from here, and let's do one more connect. Let's see what I got listed here. Oh, I know one. ftp.microsoft.com, which, if you play around very much in computers, you're going to end up here.
You might note also that even though you're accessing a system that's about 2,500 miles away, there's no long-distance charges.
That's correct.
And it's almost instantaneous.
And the reason for that is because the Internet is simply a connection of lines that are full-time, dedicated lines, and those costs are underwritten by the organizations that provided them. So, in essence, the Internet is free long-distance in a lot of ways.
Change this guy right here. The system, change it to Windows.
Oh, okay.
There you go. All the way at the bottom.
All the way bottom?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Windows NT probably, actually.
Okay.
Let's try it.
Let me key in a password here. Basically, they use 2 different kinds of FTP servers that we've seen. Mostly, we have an anonymous FTP, which pretty much lets anybody log on as long as you give your email address as a password and the username is anonymous. Is that correct?
Right. And again, this goes back to the origins of the Internet, which was designed for universities and government entities to share
It
information.
needs to be Windows NT.
So what has happened is people have caught on to that concept, and commercial organizations, government organizations, and universities are now providing this free, unrestricted access to data. That's part of the allure and attraction of the Internet.
And of course, the really great thing about it is the more people that have access to your information, the more people can comment on it. I mean, that's really the whole reason the Internet came about in the form it has, is that it's a lot easier to get something done if you can have more people working on it.
Okay.
Still no luck.
We're not doing real good with Microsoft, so let's see what we can do with Novell.
You probably need to change the server type back to auto.
Okay.
That's another problem you run into on the Internet. There are so many different operating systems, so many different machines. Everybody does something just a little bit different, and in some cases it's enough to throw your software off.
And it can get pretty frustrating, and really that's why we have technical support that's available for people that are having these kind of problems.
No
And
directories.
we didn't pick up any directory structure at all.
Yeah.
Okay, but FTP is just basically drag and drop, and it's file transfer. It's copy it from one server over to yours, because you're in as PPP or SLIP, so you're a server also on the Internet.
That's correct.
All right, very good. We're going to take a short break right now. Stick around with us. We're going to have several things. We're going to get on the web here in just a moment and go after the graphical browsers, which is the real explosion of the Internet. I have Pat Mattos with us from Phoenix Data Systems and Paul Flores. I'm James DiMaggio. I'm your host this evening. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
How many seasons you dreamt of them as champions. How many years you anticipated their big day. So many precious moments we want to hold on to. If only it weren't such a hassle. There is an alternative. why not sit back, relax, and let Access Houston videotape your next event? With state-of-the-art equipment and complete mobile and post-production facilities, Access Houston's experienced professionals have the know-how to get the job done. From athletics to the arts, science to politics, Access Houston is ready to roll on your next event. For more information or to schedule a taping, call Access Houston at 524-7700. That's 524-7700. Access Houston, where you make television happen.
Hi, and I'm James DiMaggio, and welcome back to American Computer Enthusiast. Tonight we're talking internet. We've covered email and news groups and FTP and Gopher, and we kind of glossed over them, and there was a reason. We wanted to concentrate on what they call the World Wide Web, or the web browser, or the graphical interface. The nice thing that I see about this is it can do any of the other functions. It can tie into the Gopher, it can do the FTP, it can do all the things, and plus it gives you the nice pretty pictures. And sound and video also. So tell us a little bit about the web. Where's it from? Where's it going? Why is everybody talking about you need to be on the web?
Well, the World Wide Web project is really a collaboration of many groups, universities, commercial enterprises, just about every facet of the internet has provided something on the World Wide Web project. And what it is, it's a way of indexing information on the internet so that you can get to it by just pointing and clicking.
Okay, and how does that work? We have a web page up here.
There's something called a Uniform Resource Locator. That is the address of the text file, the picture file, the sound file, or whatever you want to look at. So all you have to know really is the Universal Resource Locator, or URL, and you can actually retrieve that information. From there, it points to other URLs.
For this page, this is a URL address right up here at the top, and it's primarily HTTP:// is generally the way it starts because that's the name of the that's the type of server, and then it has its domain structure.
Right.
And then it has subdirectories that it's pulled out of, correct?
Right. Generally, you don't have to remember all that, though. There's usually a list or a starting point where you can actually jump onto the web and then proceed there by just pointing to the next document that you want and clicking on it.
Like we can start right here. Boy, ain't he handsome. And yes, I have my own home page. This is really very easy to do. And I've got to plug Phoenix here. They're the only service in town that would let me have my own home space.
All we did was ask.
Yeah, everybody's allowed to. We've got several people. I've noticed that there's a whole crew of people now have home pages on here.
Not all the people that are working on them right now are listed. They asked that we not put them up there until they were done.
Right. Unlike mine, where I let construction know, well, that's the way that it goes. And let's see here. Then you can find out about my wife and the cat and the dogs and the whole bit. And let's see, what's your page there, Paul? What are you showing on yours? Show me. What is it? Users?
Just erase past users.
Okay.
And hit enter.
Got it. Paul's got a very special announcement on his homepage. By the time that we show this, Mr. Flores will have a Mrs. Flores. And he is showing he's got his wedding announcement on here. Let's jump down to that page. We're running, for those of you that are interested, this is Netscape. And I think by far it is the best.
Yeah, the original one was called Mosaic.
A little bit further down. There you go.
And it was actually, I believe, it's put in the public domain. This one is a more commercial implementation, and there are several commercial implementations that are going to be available either now or very shortly.
Okay, so everybody can show up in Alvin on December 10th. Whoops, we'll already have aired the show by then. Guess we can't do that, huh?
What, more guests?
There's everything on the web. I've seen all kinds of strange things. On the web page, you can control robotics. You can take a snapshot of a picture of the waves in California
I don't know.
webpage called
I don't know if
CERNet.
there are any Aggie fans out there, but I do know that they had a web page set up when their bonfire.
The
fell over.
bonfire was shown
Yeah.
on the web. The nice thing that I find about this is you do not have to be a real rocket scientist to start off here. To give you an idea, we can go to About the Internet, and all we do is just click on it, and there it is. And then you can read this information, and if you see something that looks interesting, you can go to the Big Dummy's Guide to the Internet, which is something I should probably read, and you can read all about, this is all indexed and set in. You can see public act. Say you're looking for internet providers. It'll break them down by country or state. Excuse me, I'm not. Let's go to Texas.
And this is what's really driving the growth of the
Right.
internet, is this easy access to information.
And
It's as simple as point and click.
and then I can back up if I decide, well, okay, I looked at Texas now, I'm going to be in Louisiana, I want to look at Louisiana, I can scroll back up and click on Louisiana. Also, computer support companies are really taking off on this thing. I'm going to back up a few pages here.
It's funny you mentioned that, James, because one of the reasons Phoenix was originally looking at getting into the internet was not to be a reseller. We were originally looking at it to support some of our larger accounts, places like NASA, University of Houston, places where we had a lot of equipment that we could very easily manage across the network, but we didn't have internet access.
Okay. And then you can just, if you know the address, like www.novell.com, which I know that one because I'm there a lot. And on something like this, I have access to resources like their CD-ROM, their database library. If I have a bug that, if I subscribe to it, costs me $300 a quarter, or $300 a year to go into. But I can just very easily pull it up and just do a search. And they've got, I like what they're doing here. This is called image mapping, where you can use pictures, and they're using books. And I can pull up the product manuals. And it shows me, let's see here.
Deutsch,
We're going to go in
English,
English. I don't do Deutsch yet. And
312.
we'll go to 312. This is full run here. And then it's trying to send to me. Right now I don't have the viewer set up to where I can receive it, but that easily I can grab that document and pull it over to my side. Dink. And let me bring this back up here. That was interesting. We dinked everything, didn't we? Side fell down and the escape went down. Nice thing about this product, Netscape, they have a real good jumping off point. You were talking about, if you want to learn the internet, this is a very good place to go to. Up in here you'll see buttons where you can do a guided tour, what's new, questions, you can do net search. I really like, there's one unit that I like on here. Where's Linux at? Our links. Internet search, the big thing that we're having is there's so much information. How do you begin to cover what you want? And everybody's coming up with different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Let's get down here. And Lycos is probably the most powerful search engine that I've been playing around with. And I pretty much keep it in my homepage.
Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah. This is
Those are
developed by
rocket
Carnegie
scientists.
Mellon. It's very fast. Does a very nice job. And you can search it in a form or in a text base. That's the other thing that the graphical support is what they call forms. And this is a good example of what a form looks like that works. You can do a query. Explain query.
Query is just a search of some sort, whether it's a straight search for a piece of text, or maybe it's a logical search based on a and or not, those kind of things.
Okay, so we can do something like satellite and TV. We'll try that. I don't know if it'll pick anything up. Most query searches, the what do you call the middle word?
Operator.
The operator must be capitalized on a lot of queries. And we can tell it a score. The way this one works is you can tell it how close you want the hit ratio to be and how many hits you want and if you want terse output or not, and then we'll search. We'll see what it does.
Yeah, on a lot of these browsers or a lot of these search engines, if you just enter a space, it automatically assumes an and.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. We'll learn something new.
Sure.
Now, the nice thing that I like about the way they're setting up is I don't have to type anything in. If I find anything that I like, I can just click on it and go. So we can jump down here. That's foreign. And just scroll through. We got all these hits. There's TV and radio page list charts by Robert Smathers and program schedules on TV, satellite TV, and the whole bit. I mean, this is information that if you didn't know where to go, how would you know to type this in to get there? You know, it would, and now with the browser, you can very easily pull it up by utilizing some of these engines. The other thing is, how do you find somebody's email address?
Ooh.
And that can get tough too. And some of the new NetFind utilities that they're putting up on a Mosaic page to where you can search with the form by first name, last name, surname, where state they may be in or where they're connecting from are making it a lot easier.
With 20 million people on the internet, that's going to be a long search, though. So
yeah, it takes it a while to find it, but it's actually a lot faster than I was. I was very surprised with it. And now they're coming out with like the Internet Yellow Pages and list of the commercial
and the Internet White Pages
and the White Pages listings of commercial services. You can buy almost anything on the internet. My favorite, requested it as a Christmas gift, the license plate frame with the email address on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. So I recently got that, and I found that by looking on What's New page, which is if you're running this and you're not going on to What's New, you're staying behind. You need to check this page at least once a week.
The web is a very dynamic entity. It changes daily, hourly. I mean, with the ability of, just as an example, James could right now, if he wanted to, go in and rewrite his web page this second.
That's right. And change what it's linking to or the pictures that are on it or whatever. And it really doesn't take that long to do. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we have anything new that's good this year. Top 20 Comet Shoemaker Levy images. That looks like a good pick of the week.
this was good because when the comet was actually hitting Jupiter, they would post the latest images from the Hubble Space Telescope within about 5 to 10 minutes after the hits. So you were seeing this before it was on the news. You were seeing it before a lot of people at NASA were seeing it, and it was really exciting to watch. I think that they had something on the order of 64,000 accesses per hour at the peak.
Oh, my.
That was just overwhelming their computers, but that's just an example of how this information can be disseminated widely.
Wow.
That's pretty sharp.
There is one thing I want to show you, James, that I found.
What's that?
Can you go back to our users page?
Sure. Let's just change it up in here since I know what it's called.
And you're just typing the URL.
I'm just typing in the URL set up.
Most everybody uses www dot, and then in our case, we're phoenix.net.
Right.
Some people are .com, that would be a commercial organization. .gov would be a government. .edu is an educational institution.
Okay.
Of course, if you want to send an email to the president, for instance, it's president@whitehouse.gov.
Right.
Right. What do you want?
So if you get a
Go
lot
back
of
up to,
mail from that one, that was his plug.
Internet subscribers' personal homepages.
Okay.
And this one right here, register your homepage. This is something I found that's going on at JSC. They put together a page that will allow you to register your page as being a web page in Houston.
Otherwise, something called a guest book. Sign our guest book.
Very similar, yes.
Right. Okay.
And I've noticed if you go all the way to the bottom, I think there's a link back to the rest of this. Maybe not. Try clicking on Daniel's name right there. Wow, that's a busy page.
Spent
Now,
a few hours on his homepage.
Explain busy. We're talking about all the graphics and so
All the
forth.
graphics.
If I was running this on anything less than this 28.8
We'd
at a
still be
fast
waiting.
link, it would take forever for this
Right.
page to load. So that is one of the things. Now you can also turn off the inline graphics for true speed when you're just looking for the text run. Okay, we've got all kinds of stuff in here.
Yeah.
Hot links for my cold list. Top 10 signs you've had too much coffee.
And again, this is just something an individual has done for his own personal gratification.
He's been busy on it. He's doing a lot of work here. Very nice.
America held hostage.
Obsolete as of 11/8/94. For you Rush Limbaugh, you understand exactly what he's talking about there. What else can we do? We can do sound, right?
Absolutely.
There's sound and so forth.
If you have the proper viewer set up.
Well, let's see here. I happen to have a little segment here that I pulled off of a page over the weekend. Where's Wave at? Where are my Wave files? Okay.
You want a media player.
Oh, wrong one.
Media player. There you go.
There you go.
File open, and let's change to Ace 1, and where's it called?
Right there at
That
the top.
one.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a little sound here.
That must have taken a while.
Actually, it didn't take that long at all. It was actually pretty quick, and I was doing it background.
Ah, yeah. There
Okay?
you go.
See, that's the other advantage that I found is, I'm going to cut that off, is that what we can do is we can do that in the background, and I can be doing my email while it's FTPing the file down, and I never really notice because I can have all kinds of connections going off even on one phone line. And email doesn't take up that much bandwidth.
No.
Now, be careful about launching email, a web page, and a Gopher search at the same time, or FTP and Gopher and a web page at the same time, because you'll bottleneck your modem real hard.
Right.
And
This is a garden hose compared to most of the pipes on the internet.
That's correct. It just doesn't do the speed. And I just pulled that off of, I was running around one of the web pages, and they had, this is Quocom. This is a good page, too.
How are you doing on that, by the way?
I got slaughtered. Oh, yeah, they beat me up real bad. Quocom is an investment service that sends out a weekly thing. They have some basic services that are free, and then you can compete in a game where you can do your own portfolio and try to manage it and make the most money you can. And I was doing real good for about 3 days. And then, I got trounced real bad. Another one that does the same type of service is one called PAWS, P-A-W-W-S. And what they're doing here is what they've done is we don't even have to click on the links anymore. We can just click on pictures. This is called image mapping.
Right. It's a very powerful tool on these browsers because it allows the person who's setting up the information server just to give you a bunch of pictures. You click on the one you want, and you don't even have to read to do it.
Heaven forbid. Okay, so those are where some of the other things that are going on. There's all types of different email. You can handle email and the whole bit through here.
Right.
Let's see here. This is TVNet. Let's see what kind of speed they're running tonight. And just anything that basically that you can think of that you might need access to. There's forums for kids. K-12 is real big on the internet. That whole area. They've expanded on it.
We're finding there's really 3 types of users, and an individual may be all 3 types. You have the educational types of things, university archives,
Researchers.
K-12 type programs you can get. You have your business user, who's usually out on the internet to gather some kind of research or get some data, maybe technical support from a vendor, that sort of thing. And then you have your entertainment And that's probably at this point, probably more than half of the users on the internet are basically in search of entertainment or games, that sort of thing.
Well, I have one other thing that I like to do that I'm going to break out of here and see if we've got anybody that's live right now. We're going to do a little IRC. And what is IRC? Tell us.
Internet relay chat.
And what's it good for?
Gossiping.
It's a great waste of time.
Yeah,
if you're bored and lonely and stuck at home for some other reason, IRC is your best communication to be able to hook up with people.
Yeah, IRC started out as a CB simulator, where you basically put your comments out online, and what it's evolved to is an electronic meeting place. You can send private messages to some of the individuals online. At any one time, you're likely to find that there are as many as 2,000 to 3,000 other users on an IRC server with you. What that means is you can instantly communicate in real time with 2,000 to 3,000 people. Now that can lead to all kinds of adventures.
Give me a list. Let's go. What I'm doing now is I've hooked in and I'm trying to get. There we go. And we have a list of channels here. Let's see what we can find. Let's see if
just all kinds of things.
Let me see if Friendly's up and running. That's usually a real good channel to go with, and we won't get in any trouble.
Yeah.
I do have to give a word of caution. Okay, the internet is a great tool. Parents, supervise your children.
Yes, please.
Please do. There's a lot going on out there, and it touches all fathoms of the society, and you need to this needs to be used with supervision in all strengths. So, especially in stuff of IRC and so forth, because it's very, very quick and it's very interactive and it's hard to monitor.
Right. And there are no censors.
That's correct. That is the big thing. There is no censorship on the internet, so you can pretty much. Let's see if Friendly's up.
Yeah. I think it's important to reiterate that, and that there are many sources of information. No one is out there policing this stuff. There's everything from vendors putting information out there to just individuals putting information out, and there's absolutely no censorship, no control, no ownership really. It's just there and it's available. So like you said, it's best for parents to supervise their children. It's just like any other form of interactive communication, the telephone, and that sort of thing.
That's right. And there's a real good, if you want more information, the Electronic Frontier Houston is a good foundation here in town, and you can contact them. If you'll drop us a mail at ace@macaw.com or call us on the hotline at 587-5369, we can give you more details on that. It's highly recommended. This is a great tool, but it needs to be supervised and it needs to be handled real well. We're going to take another short break, then we're going to come back and do a little wrap-up. We'll see if we can find somebody to talk to here on IRC and say hi to. Appreciate y'all joining us. We'll be back for a wrap-up, show you some of the other things that are coming up. I'm James DiMaggio. This is American Computer Enthusiast. Stay by.
Up in a cold sweat with one thing echoing through her brain. Who was this guy in her bathroom?
Meanwhile, Barry was thinking, whose bathroom am I in?
Janine remembered going to the party the night before and getting smashed out of her mind.
Barry remembered getting drunk and acting really stupid.
Eventually.
The whole evening came back.
Oh, I must be really stupid.
I must be really dumb.
What did I do? How did I get myself into this?
Well, what did I do? How did I get myself into this?
What about AIDS? Then they both realized, much to their relief, that unlike the rest of us,
they were just cartoons.
Get high.
Get stupid.
Get AIDS.
Hello, I'm James DiMaggio, and welcome back to American Computer Enthusiasts. Tonight we have Pat Mattos and Paul Flores from Phoenix Data Systems here in town. What's y'all's phone number, real quick, in case anybody wants to call for details?
486-8337.
Again?
486-8337, and you can ask for me, Paul Flores.
Okay, and that way y'all can follow up. You can also send messages to ace@macaw.com, and we'll answer that. I love to get mail, so keep it coming. And our helpline number, if you don't have access yet and you need more information or have questions or suggestions for future shows, we love to hear from you. Number is 587-5369. Leave voicemail. We check it regularly. So that's the way that you can contact us this year. We're not live like we have been in the past, so we can't take the phone calls, and I really miss talking to you. So drop us a mail, send us voicemail, whichever way you want to go, and get with us. This is we've shown everything from email, news groups on up, and the newest thing that I've been playing around with underneath Netscape, I can do threaded news group reading, which makes it very, very nice. In the old style, I just had each message singly, and I couldn't really follow the thread real well. In this one, now I get a clear understanding that I can look at and see. And this is a new news group. This is y'all's new Phoenix.chat news group that you've just opened up, right?
Just started it today.
Okay, and what's the purpose of this?
It's basically for our users to have an open forum to talk about whatever they want. It's something that's been asked for, and we just thought we'd provide it.
Okay, and I can just very easily say, it's about time.
I see you're going to mail it straight to me, all right?
Uh-huh. And send it right back. That's how quick I can get involved. Read it, hit 2 buttons, type it in, press enter, and you're done. So it's the ultimate way to be able to contact people. I really like the way that these are set up. Go ahead, Pat.
I think that the rise of this type of communication is driving the growth on the internet. The fact is that a telephone is not really that good of a device to get hold of somebody who's very busy. It stays there. They can check it at night. They can check it at 2 o'clock in the morning whenever they have time. And you can explain a lot better if you just need to leave a short note, get in touch with me because of. It's really not too easy to explain that sometime on the telephone.
The other thing that I'm finding is as more commercial sources come online, we're seeing I can do more thorough comparison shopping. When I'm talking to a marketing guy on the other end of the phone, I can get lost as far as how much detail's coming out. But if I can get everything in a printed form in front of me and to where I can sit down and really analyze it, I usually make more informed decisions. We're seeing a lot of people come online with internet shopping centers and stuff of this nature where you can go and you can shop for anything that you want. Right. So there's, my favorite right now is I've requested a gift of the license plate with my email address on the bottom of it. So I found that on browsing web pages. I was in the What's New page and they had an announcement. Popped over there, said, "Babe, Francine, this is what I want."
I'm gonna have to get one of those.
It's a great little gift idea. It's like $11. Okay, yeah. So you can't go wrong that way.
And another nice thing you might want to point out here is that with the news groups, it's possible to go out and say, all right, hey, everybody, I'm thinking about buying this specific product. Has anybody used it? What do you think?
That's right. And now I've seen companies that have come onto the net and they've gotten trounced or flamed, as it's nicknamed, because people are real quick to respond to a bad price, to bad service. If you're going to buy a major thing, I saw people polling for who's a good car dealer recently. That's a major investment. Who's a good real estate person? They were looking around for somebody that was a buyer's broker.
And you know what's really strange, though, James? Would you walk up to somebody on the street, a total stranger, and ask them that kind of stuff?
No, you can't. It separates it out, and it makes everybody even.
Sure.
Right.
So it's really, the internet is definitely going to be a communication tool that we need to reckon with. I do want to caution parents, if you have kids, they need to be supervised when they're using the internet. make sure you understand that there is no censorship on this net, and you need to be very, very careful of that. I think we're coming to a close. I want to thank Pat for being here. Thank you very much, Pat and Paul. Appreciate y'all coming. Let's get we can work on more on the homepage and so forth. What y'all got a open house party coming up, don't you?
Yes, we do. It's the 14th, Pat?
Yes.
It's going to be at our site in Clear Lake. There's a picture of it on our webpage if you want to see it. It's going to be food and drinks. We're going to be giving tours of our internet lab, showing a little bit about what we do at Phoenix Data Systems.
Very good. And that phone number is?
486-8337, 486-8337.
Okay, and are you going to waive like the membership fee or anything, the sign-up fee? We're going to work a deal for the viewers?
Yeah. If you mention James's show.
Okay.
We'll cut you a deal on your sign-up fee.
Absolutely.
Mention ACE and save you some money and get on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate y'all showing up this evening. We've got several shows coming up. The Xmas show, the Christmas show is next week. All the gifts and gadgets for your techno wonk. It's always a lot of fun. I've got something special that I had sent in that's called a Sim Saver to save your memory. For a 30 to 72 pin conversion. Very cool. Wow. You don't have to throw it away anymore. And there's all types of things that are coming along the lines. I'll be back on in 2 more weeks with another show, and we appreciate it. Send that mail to ace@macaw.com. Phone number is 587-5369. I'm James DiMaggio. This is American Computer Enthusiast. I'm glad you showed this evening.